Hello, my friends. Welcome to the latest edition of What's Around the Country, the podcast of unexpected conversations. And you guys know once a month, I do a purely country episode where I talk about things in country music. And I also try to talk to singers, songwriters. And one of the fun things I get to do is to introduce you to somebody that you may not know, but I think you will. His name is Will Jones. Will, how the heck are you?
I'm doing good, Gary. How are you doing today?
I am doing well. Where are you at? Where are you at as we record this?
So I'm currently in my backyard. Don't tell anyone. I've got the day at the house, and I've been working on my old truck today, fixing up an old F-150, and the yard is mowed, hopefully for the last time this year, and it feels like fall outside. So I am hanging.
Do you actually know how to fix stuff?
You know, I guess I do a little bit because I bought this 1996 F-150, and the truth is I've got a 2-year-old baby girl, and so the only thing that I can really do or have time to do, I don't get to really hunt or fish and stuff like that very much because if I'm usually working or I'm spending time with them, but I can sneak out back to my driveway and work on my old truck. So I've been rebuilding this old two-tone golden white truck. And it's been fun. So it kind of gives me something to do, but I've been fixing it up.
So let me do the math. You look like you do. You sing like you do. You play the guitar like you do. And you know how to fix stuff. No wonder this woman keeps getting pregnant. I'm just saying. Because I'll tell you what, you know what my wife's fantasy is? My wife's fantasy is one day I'm going to walk in here wearing a tool belt and know how to use it. That's what my wife's fantasy is.
Well, I'm definitely not perfect, but you know what's so funny is somebody asked me not too long ago, and I ended up writing a song about this, but somebody said, Will, what have you been up to? And I said, to be honest with you, I've been making babies and country music. That's about all I've been up to lately.
There's a song
that's
right
the truth.
there.
We got another one on the way, and other than that, I've been making country music and very blessed to do it. So life is fun right now.
I can't fix everything, but what I can fix stays fixed. Write that
That's
song.
Right.
Write that song.
I'm in.
Just jump on in and get going. I know a number of songwriters and just get rolling on it.
We never quit.
You know, that's the beautiful thing about it is you guys, and I've tried to explain that in my world, people be like, you know, what's so-and-so like? What are they like? How do they write a song? And I'm like, here's what I've learned. They never stop. They never stop listening for that conversation. They never stop listening for that story. They never stop looking for that emotion.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, it happens all the time. And you get ideas from traveling around the world and meeting people and having conversations. And the amount of times I've been in mid-conversation with someone and they said something and I just stopped for a minute and pulled my phone out and made a note, you know. I mean, that's how we get songs and ideas, is living in the world. You know, it's the best place.
There's so many good stories out there and so many good songs. You know, like I said, I've talked to so many. I mean, Trent Tomlinson will tell you the story about how he stopped at a convenience store in the middle of the night. And the guy was all excited to tell him about all the people he had met. And he said, I ain't got much, but I got a lot of memories.
Yeah, man.
Because I got to write that song.
Come on. I know Trent, we've had the privilege of writing several songs together. He's so talented.
He's a wild ass, and I say that in the best sense of the thing. He is so funny.
He's a free man for sure.
Yeah, it is, and it's so different. Like we just had the KRTY.com golf tournament out here, right? And by the way, next year we need to get you in.
Yeah, call me.
Yeah, and what we do is we call it the Writers Cup. WRITER,
that's
Writers
awesome.
Cup.
That's
and so
cool.
Like we have Trent Thomas, we have Cole Taylor, we have Luke Dick, we have, I mean, just the list. And I'll get Nate to get you up on that.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
But it's just funny. And it's, you know, we were in one group and Trent was in the next and and we had Luke with us. And you know, and Luke is just this huge bear of a man.
Yes.
But he's quiet and he's funny. But and I told him, I said, dude, Trent is Trent no matter when you see him. But Luke, when Luke is on stage, he is a different character. He is calm, cool, the father of 6 when he's off stage. But when he's on stage, he is Luke flipping dick. That's what he is.
Dude. Yeah, man. What a talent, too. He's got a crazy story, too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the stuff when you go back and do it. And I'm gonna have him on. We're getting together to record an episode. But it's fun. I just love the backstory. And you, dude, you got a backstory. I mean,
Yeah.
you're growing up in Virginia, in Appalachia, in the middle of
Yeah.
nowhere. Family has a bluegrass band, and
Yeah.
this is why you and I are talking with, because I
Yeah.
love bluegrass.
Yeah. It's a fun story.
Oh, Uncle Ben played the
It's a fun
fiddle, Lord,
story.
how it rang. You could hear it talk. You could hear it sing.
That's right. Yeah.
Tell me about it, because
Oh man, I'd
again,
love to. I love, going back to being blessed. I had I had the best childhood that anyone could have. I grew up in a community called Cana, Virginia is where I'm from. And it sets about where I grew up, the farm I grew up on is about a mile from the state line of North Carolina, just above Mount Airy, North Carolina, for all my Andy Griffith fans out there. It's where he was
and
born and
church
raised.
fans.
Yeah, that's right. Good old Mayberry. So that was the town I grew up. That was when we went to town, 15, 20 minutes away. That's where we went. And grew up tucked right up against the bottom of the Blue Ridge Mountains, about 10 or 15 minutes from the Blue Ridge Parkway. Just beautiful old country. And it's awesome. And so I grew up there. My dad was a hobbyist guitar player around the house, had a regional bluegrass band. And when I was about 6 or so, how it started was they had bought me a cassette tape player that had all of these like colorful buttons on the top of it, and maybe even like a little toy microphone on the side or something. And I didn't have any cassette tape to play in it. So my mom snuck in my dad's office, and she reminded me of this because I was too young to really remember how it went down. I couldn't remember if I went in there and stole it. But my mom was so cool. My mom went in there and took a cassette that my dad had, and it was a J.D. Crowe and the New South cassette tape, the old Home Place record, which is one of the
Crowe.
Yeah,
Wow.
0044, one of the most iconic bluegrass records ever made.
Mhm.
So she gave that cassette tape to me, and I ended up learning a song off of it called Crying Holy, a bluegrass gospel song. And I don't know why I did it, but I learned every word to that song, and came downstairs and woke my dad up in the recliner and sang it for him. And he had a little guitar in there. So that's kind of what started that. And it was off to the races then. So then after that, I'm one of 5 kids. I got 4 sisters, and 2 of those sisters.
You and me. I got 4 sisters.
Do you really?
Yeah.
No kidding, man. Yeah, I got 4 sisters. We're all within 5 years of each other because 2 of the sisters of mine I'm a triplet with them. So
Get out.
Yeah, man. So I'm a triplet with 2 of my sisters and then 2 older sisters. And so my 2 older sisters ended up, after I've been playing music for a few years and traveling with my dad, they picked it up, and we
You
formed a
left
bluegrass
out a little
band.
part that I think you need to add in.
What's that?
You were 6 years old.
Yeah, I was about 6 years old.
That's a bit of a piece you need to throw in there.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I think because once my dad introduced me to guitar, and I just, everybody's got that thing, man. I mean, it's just a whether or not you find it. And I found it at such a young age, and it's because of him. And I couldn't get enough of it. So when I was 6 or 7 years old, it was every day, all day, as much guitar as I could play, running cold water over my fingers because they were sore, And by the time I was 8, I was traveling with my dad and his band and playing music with them, playing guitar and lead guitar. And so I did that for several years. And by the time my older sisters, got into it, and then they were incredibly talented. One played the mandolin and the other played a stand-up bass. And my dad played with us, of course, and a family friend played banjo. And we ended up recording 2 or 3 records and playing festivals. So my childhood was, running wild, Huck Finn style out in the woods and playing bluegrass music. And then I was playing sports in school and good old, Carroll County High School and public schools. So I really kind of had 2 worlds. I still had the regular small town, know all the teachers, go to the school and play sports. And on the weekends, though, then I was traveling and playing music because that's what I was really, really serious about. So it was a incredible childhood. And I was talking to somebody about this the other day. I said, now we live in Nashville. It's so busy. I said, but I think about my childhood, and I think about, my grandpa Buster, there was a World War II veteran, and maybe, one of my best friends. and I would sit out. He had a produce business. He was a produce man. And we would sit out on his front porch, and he had a Pepsi machine out there, and all these guys would swing in, and we'd loaf on Saturdays there. And I'm like, I really did get kind of a piece of rural small town America that I feel like's dwindling a lot of times. So I think about those days often, and playing music with my family. It's just really a perfect way to be raised and grow up.
What I love about your music, and it resonates, a lot. I grew up in a small town in Alabama. Right.
Yeah.
And the same thing. I remember the old men sitting out on a storefront playing dominoes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And there's something that I think people, now I'm in San Jose. You ever heard of Silicon Valley? That's San Jose, California.
Sure.
Right. And so I've been out here for a long time, and I've been in big cities for a long time. But it's amazing to me how many people I meet who have lived in large towns all their life, but they know there's something special about that little small town. Now, here's the other side of small town thing. You'll never find more kids who are angry that there's nothing to do than you will in a small town life. Right.
That's right.
But it never stops. I mean, my son has grown up here, and he'll talk about how there's nothing to do. And I'm like, you're in a town of 2 million people. What do you mean there's nothing to do?
Yeah.
I'll show you what there's nothing to do.
I know. And then you start getting a little bit older, and you're having a family, and you start, I start craving that childhood I had, and it's a special, we were just in San Juan Capistrano last weekend.
Oh, I saw you in San, and I saw your, listen, I love your little travel series, your Ride With Me travel series.
Yeah, thank you.
I get a kick out of that. I love that you were in Napa. I wish I'd had a chance to get a hold of you and bring you on down here. Because that's our that's thing. When you said the Palisades Bar, and I'm like, my God, me and my wife and some friends, we sat there one afternoon for like 2 hours drinking wine. And I'm like, I remember that. And we've all been there in that area and stuff. And just to watch you go through that. And that's the side, you make it look fun. But the other side of this is Portland, Eugene, Medford, Napa, all in just a matter of a couple of days.
Yeah.
That's the part. And again, finding joy wherever you can. And I'm thrilled that you do. It's something we all struggle to do, and it's something we all need to get better about it. And when I say we all, I'm talking to me.
Sure.
But you are able to do that and show the bright side of the fun things you were doing.
Yeah. Well, Merle Haggard said one time, he said, we're not professional musicians, we're professional travelers. And that's often the case, with musicians. All we do is travel and logistics and figure out the most efficient way to do it. But I've enjoyed making this content, and especially in 2025, 2026, content is everything. And I just really have fun with it. I enjoy bringing people along because I want them to be able to see what it's like day to day and what we're doing, where we're at. And the traveling, it can get exhausting and hard. But then you remember, you're in a beautiful place. You're in a city you've never been before. You're eating at a restaurant you've never been to, and you're playing on a stage that you've probably never played on before for people you've never met. And it's just a constant adventure. So I've really enjoyed making that series just for that reason.
Well, and you're blessed with it. I mean, the fact that the good Lord gave you the skills. And I get the Malcolm Gladwell 10,000 hour thing. I get it. And there's part of me that believes a part of it. But if you do not have the talent to go with the drive, right? Yeah. I can practice. I've played 10,000 hours of golf easily. I practiced 10,000 hours. I'm not good. I don't have the talent. I'm not being disingenuous. I'm not. So you don't have that thing. The fact that you have those gifts and that drive and your ability to talk, you got a puppy, I see.
I know. Yeah. Geez, I was about to say, I might have to move. The guard dog is guarding the house right now. We might go over, step away because I bought my wife a little miniature Dotson.
Oh my gosh. Those are the
Dotson dog.
Yeah, those are the yippiest yips of all the yips. That's the truck. Nice. If you're not watching the video, find us on YouTube. Sweet ride, man.
two-tone gold and white, but we'll step right over here and see if this works a little better.
Well, yeah, and that sounds great. And but what I was saying is you were blessed with this, that you had all of these things you were taught. You were the MC of the family band. You had that, and your ability to be fearless. I loved, and you got to watch, go find Will. And we've got all the links. We've got links to Will's website. We've got links to his YouTube channel. Literally check it all out. I love how you just always look forward, go into a room where you don't even know anybody knows who you are. And you're just like, hey, y'all, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, man. It kind of goes back to the never met a stranger thing, and I think growing up in bluegrass music for me, my dad at an early age kind of put me in this role where I was the MC. I was always talking to people. I was always introducing the band, talking about the next song and whatnot. And so I've done that so long now, since I was such a young kid, that I don't even really think about it anymore. And part of entertaining for me is getting to know the people that I'm singing for and letting them get to know me, and there's a sense, like when we've been on the Josh Turner tour this year, a lot of times I'll do those shows solo acoustic direct support, and so without a full band and big production and all this stuff, you really have nothing to hide behind except yourself and a guitar. So all you have is who you are and a guitar, just the way you started, and the songs you've been writing. And so a lot of times I really enjoy just breaking the ice with people and just literally telling them, hey, y'all can be comfortable, relax, enjoy this. And I want you to get to know me just a little bit.
You've been doing this long enough to you've started to realize. I can't say you've realized, because you're still a young man. Not that I hate you.
Sure.
But you've started to realize that that's not common. And I say that as I remember the first time we had Zach Brown at a barbecue restaurant, and these guys came in and they started unloading. And finally he walks up and he goes, hey, I'm Zach Brown. And I'm like, Zach, we had a bet amongst the four of us here about which one was Zach Brown, and you lost. Because it was Alan Jackson. You can go through all of it. George Strait.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who just don't have that. I'm gonna jump on in. Eric Church.
Sure.
They don't have that. I'm gonna jump on in and do it. And that's a rare talent you have. And
I appreciate that.
I can see that the family band and them giving you that support, and knowing that everybody behind you loved you, which made it easier to understand that everybody out in front of you were pulling for you.
100%, man. 100%. And it's it kind of becomes this thing of, I don't know. I love people, and I like meeting new people, and I think people deserve to be entertained. And I also believe that they deserve to be loved on in a show, and if if I do a Q&A or anything like that, it also comes down to authenticity, because if you want people to get to know who you are, you have to be yourself, and you have to be unapologetic about being who you are and being yourself. And once you realize that you have the complete freedom to do that, and sing exactly how you sing, and write the songs you want to write, and be exactly who you are, then that lifts all the weight off the shoulders for me. I mean, that gives you the ultimate freedom as a creative person to really start to have fun with your music and your content and everything you're doing,
Well, it's funny because I, like I said, I've been doing this a long time. And I remember we had this young guy, and we didn't even know what to do with him. And we said, well, we were planning, we had a charity golf tournament coming up. And we said, hey, well, we'll bring him with us and he'll play. And that way we'll get him exposed to a few people. Right.
Yeah.
But I remember talking to him, quiet, shy, awkward. And he was a sweet kid. Tried to play golf, could not even hold a club right. I'm not even kidding. And
having a hard time. Yeah.
But when he finally got up, and it was, and he didn't do anything, he goes, thank y'all for having me here. And he started playing his guitar and he sang and he played, Long Black Train. Sure. And it was Josh Turner.
That's awesome.
And watching his transformation, that he had to take that long to get to where he is now. Right.
Yeah.
We've had him in shows, and he's same thing with Carrie Underwood. That they never, it was that they didn't have that background you had that allowed you to do that. And when when people can just jump up there, listen, Laney Wilson, you remind me of Laney Wilson.
Man, I'm such a fan of Laney's, and I'll tell you something. I would call myself friends with her in the brief, minute that I was around her and got to know her before she took off to Pluto. But I remember she had me on a show that she was doing and down in Round Rock, Texas. Me and my friend May Estes, and
May Estes, I love me some May Estes.
oh, she's so great, and me and May are good buddies. But I remember I had already played my set, and I was getting some stuff out of there, and Laney's manager, Mandolin, had come up and said, "Hey, Laney wants to talk to y'all before she goes on stage." Now, talk about a professional, talk about a pro who can handle it all the way. And if she was about to go on stage in the next, 10 minutes or something.
Yeah.
But she took the time to make sure that we came over there and got to sit down, catch up, normal conversation, like, how are you type conversation, right before she walked on stage. And I just thought, man, that is someone who can handle it, who has got it under control, who is down to earth and normal. They don't make them any better than Laney, I don't think, man. I mean, what a top-notch person.
I've told her, because we got her, before she got big, and then after she got big, she still would do stuff for us. And I remember this was like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And I said, isn't it funny how the good Lord put you in a situation where you weren't successful when you were 20? Because I don't think you would have been ready for it. I said, but the fact that he pushed you back and had you so ready for it. So when the moment came, I said, the thing about you, girl, is nothing's ever too big. Nothing's ever too big. And I sit back and go the same with Jelly Roll, right?
100%.
That if the 20-year-old Jelly Roll, no, I don't need him. I don't need him. But I needed him to go through everything he did. And again, I go back to your story that you went through all of that. You've got a 2-3-year-old. You've got another one on the way. And something tells me if you keep fixing things, these won't be the last. But I mean, it seasons you up and gives you a certain perspective that is uniquely you. And I know that's what you're after.
100%. And I mean, every bit of the inspiration that I pull from for writing songs and doing what I do, I guess you would say my why, in this life, it goes to my family, my wife, and my 2-year-old and my soon to be newborn baby, my faith in Jesus. I believe in that. And I think when you're grounded in those kinds of ways, there's something about, having a family and living and being, the friction of the world smoothing you over like a rock in a stream. You kind of need to get out and get beat up by the world for a while, because there's no replacing time on the road doing that. And I mean, we've spent years, honing those skills and golly, getting paid nothing and losing money and breaking down. And I mean, and it never quits. That never quits. You always are having to problem solve and figure out, what are you going to do? Your flight got canceled. You got 4 guys, you got to get to Nashville, and you got to be on the road the next day. I mean, you got to suffer through a bunch of that. Because it thickens your skin and toughens you up. It makes your music better. Man, I think it's the most valuable thing you can have.
I've told so many new acts, man, the best, most important shows you'll do are for the bartender.
Oh, man.
When nobody else shows up and the bartender's the only one there and he don't care.
That's a fact. I have done it. Gosh, the stories I have for playing for the bartenders in a middle, in a club somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
You know what you have? I remember, and again, I'll share my stories with you. We had this brand new singer out, and we were at Tower Records, and we had a 2-hour appearance, and it was me and him, and 4 people showed up at the beginning, and then nobody else. We walked around Tower Records for 2 hours. And then we're supposed to go to the club, the Saddle Rack, the old Saddle Rack.
Yep.
And there was nobody there. No record rep. I'm like, do you need a ride? He goes, that'd be great. So
no kidding. Yeah.
I took him over to the bar. He gets up, he goes on stage and just plays guitar. Doesn't sing a note. And it's like a Thursday night, and the crowd is like at 8:00. Crowd don't care. And he just keeps playing. And finally they hear it and they shut up. And so he plays for like 25 minutes, doesn't sing a note. walks off the stage. And I'm like, dude, you were amazing. And he goes, thanks. I said, no. I expected you to suck. Who the hell have ever heard of Keith Urban? I mean, I didn't, man, dude. And,
yeah, man.
And it was that your guitar skills are next level. And
Well,
y'all, when
you
you go look at his videos and stuff, you got to have a lot of courage to walk out, not only with just guitar, but you know what I'm going to do, y'all? I'm going to do you a 3-4 minute solo before I ever sing a note.
Yeah.
And that reminded me of that night with Keith Urban.
Oh, that's really cool, man. You know, a lot of times if I'm touring solo acoustic like that, they'll ask me, you know, hey, do you want us to bring you on? Do you want an introduction? And most of the time I tell them no, because I would rather walk out there, because there's something about walking out on stage and you hear the roar of the crowd, you know, talking and stuff like that. And then they notice you coming out, and then there's this buzz. And then the feeling of that is, there's nothing better than having to command, you know, if I'm on tour with Josh Turner, it might be a couple thousand, several thousand people, but having to command a crowd with just yourself and a guitar in that moment right before you kick into your first song it's like, honestly, it's something that I really enjoy. It's a selfish thing that I enjoy, because that feels like show business. That feels like putting on a show and entertaining people, you know.
See, that's why you're different, because man, if I sit back and if I had 6 other singers with me right now, I guarantee at least 3 of them go, no, man, that's when I'm scared to death. I have no idea how it's going to go, you know, and I'm going to launch into it, but I have no idea how it's going to go.
Well, you know, I think it kind of goes back to just the years of preparation. For me, when I'm on stage, you know, there isn't a scenario that I haven't experienced. I mean, forgetting the words to a song, or, you know, the band misses a hit and you got to get them back on track, or, you know, the million different possibilities. They're all going to happen. They're going to happen to everybody. They still happen to the biggest names, you know, in the business. It's how you handle that moment. I remember I was in, I've broken strings on my guitar on the second song into the set before, you know, and I just put a string on and I talk to the crowd, or I sing and change my string at the same time, whatever I need to do. But also people like to see that stuff happen. So you can't be scared of it, because it just makes you human. You're on stage as a human entertaining people. You know, they like the flaws too. So I don't worry about any of it.
Well,
really.
that's when you know you're seeing something nobody else is seeing. Right?
For sure.
If you sit back and watch the show and it goes perfectly, well, you know, the people in Bakersfield saw that same show. And the people in Phoenix saw that same show. But when something unusual happens, now it's your unique experience.
That's exactly right. And man, I take so much pride in, I love our live show. I mean, you know, anybody that watches this, please come out to a show. I love to entertain. And I think live entertainment is, you know, really, it's just, I love it more than anything, you know, in the music space. And, but we don't run tracks, you know, we don't run any sort of programs with us. We don't even run a click track. We don't do any of that stuff. It's old school Fender tube amps, you know, crank them up and rip it. And I remember we were out in California last weekend, and we got done, and my drummer had recorded, he had taken like a cell phone video or something from behind his drum throne of the whole set, you know, so he could have it.
Yeah.
And I said, how long was the video? Because he pushed it right before they brought me out when my band played me on. And then he ended it right when I walked off and they played me on stage. And it was a 45-minute set. And I think we played 44 minutes and 57 seconds. And, you know, no click, no tracks, nothing to guide you except, you know, the watch on my wrist and just knowing how long my songs were and all that. And I was like, I love that, you know, like that's so fun. And that's just the way we like to do it, old school.
Well, and that's the thing I've told my sons, because I've worked in radio for many, many years.
Sure.
And I told my sons, listen, I know how long 1 minute is.
Right.
I know how long 3 minutes and 26 seconds are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes,
you tell me 4 minutes and 19 seconds. I know exactly how I can go get a cup of coffee, walk out. I know exactly, because it's been ingrained in my head. Right.
That's right.
So if you tell me just a minute, don't tell me just a minute.
Yeah.
Because I know.
Because I know what that's so good.
You're better
Yeah.
at me going, hey, Dad, I need 7 minutes and 41 seconds. Okay. All right, man, I'm up on that. Let's go. Let's see how that
That's
runs.
that's pretty good.
But
I like it.
it's just a hoot, and I love the fact that you're having all these things. I wonder, since you did the show with Josh Turner, and you're such a good guitar player, at some point, would you just go up there and play Would You Go With Me for him?
Oh gosh. I don't know if I could do that or not. I
He
would
told me,
definitely play.
because he hates that song because it's so fast. He goes, my forearms just want to burn up.
Oh man, when he's got a killer band too. Actually, a couple of bluegrassers in his band talking about me being raised playing traditional bluegrass music. Um, he's got a killer band. Sean Bailey on fiddle. I mean, all those guys. Paul. But man, I would definitely jump in and play that song with him for sure. But man, it's rocking fast. It's really fast. Yeah.
Could you, yeah, I'm sure you could. Remember, oh gosh, Before You Kill Us All from Randy Travis.
Oh yeah.
You remember that guitar lick?
Oh yeah, dude.
Dude, if you ever do a cover for me, do that.
Okay.
Because
All right, I'll do that.
Because that, he had to get, I can't remember the names, the legendary guitarists, but he couldn't get him to go on stage, a show with him. Right? I mean, no, I'm just going to sit here in Nashville and play. I ain't going to do anything. And so they couldn't get anybody who could play that lick when he went on stage. Because I remember he was at Shoreline. I'm like, I can't wait to hear it. He goes, we don't play that lick. I mean,
wow.
But it's not what you hear on the record.
No, yeah.
I mean, wow. But the artistry has gone up. And the people
I agree.
I'm telling you guys, you need to check out videos. His guitar playing is next level. I'm saying it's on the Brad Paisley, Keith Urban. Who's an underrated guitar player? Travis Tritt.
Oh yeah, man, and banjo player.
Yeah,
and,
he is
and bluegrass banjo player. I'm walking in the house here so I can make sure my phone gets plugged in.
Hey, listen, I understand. As long as we got past the guard dog, that's all. We haven't been going.
Bonnie has not bitten me. Well, yeah, we'll hang out here in my studio. Travis Tritt, man. I actually end every one of my shows with Modern Day Bonnie and Clyde, which is one of my favorite all-time Travis Tritt songs. And my buddy James LeBlanc and Walt Aldridge wrote that down in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. And Travis Tritt is so underrated as a musician, just in general. I feel like a lot of times because a lot of people don't realize. I mean, if you look at those old tour videos of them and stuff, I mean, he was backstage hanging out playing bluegrass banjo. They were just, but I mean, he's a monster of a guitar player and musician. I mean, that guy has got it, and so I really love a lot of what Travis did throughout his career. And that's why when we started covering Modern Day Bonnie and Clyde, we covered it. I've done it forever in my shows, and I end every show with that version of mine of his songs. And finally, I said, it hasn't been recorded in since Travis recorded it, however long that was. And we were looking for a song. And this was after I signed my first publishing deal in town at UMPG. And I said, what if I just re-recorded, my version of that song? And I asked James about that. I said, and make sure it would be cool with him, and of course he was fine with it. But so yeah, everybody can check out my version of Modern Day Bonnie and Clyde, and just know that is because I'm a huge Travis Tritt fan.
Well, as I said, you and I, we're always going to be friends because of your bluegrass connection. Because I have grown up loving bluegrass. I remember because I've done this for a long time, I name drop a lot. So I'm backstage with Vince Gill one time, and I said, "How'd you learn to play guitar?" He goes, "Dude, I grew up playing bluegrass." I said,
yeah, dude.
I said, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I love bluegrass." He goes, "But I sat around one day and said, at some point I might want to own a home. So I need
need to buy a house.
I need to diversify."
Oh, that's so good.
But it's the thing of it, and the fact that I love how Dolly Parton, just literally stripped everything down and went on and did a bluegrass record, and then went and toured Europe in a bus. Think about that.
I mean, I think about like not even like Dolly. You're talking
And
about
this is
Vince.
after she'd been Dolly Parton. I mean, she had the money to
Oh,
travel.
no doubt.
She had money to travel by private plane, but she wanted the experience.
That's right. I mean, you think about Merle Haggard, cut a bluegrass record. What's funny is Vince in particular. I've met Vince maybe one time or maybe a couple times or something. And I've talked to him about it, but I performed, before I stepped out into the country scene, and I had put my country band together, and I was playing clubs and I was cold calling, playing anywhere I could play. But I got a call from a legendary bluegrass banjo player named Terry Balcom, and he wanted me to go out on the road with him and play. And at the time, he wasn't playing a million shows a year, so it really worked out perfect. And so I went out and performed with Terry. Well, Terry, he passed away. But in honor of Balk, I want to tell, back in the day, there was a band called Boone Creek. Now, this is some really nerdy music stuff.
Yeah.
There was a band called Boone Creek, and in that band was Ricky Skaggs and Jerry Douglas, and actually my cousin, Wesley Golden, who was singing lead for that band, and Terry Balcom was the banjo player, and Vince at a really early age was going out on the road and playing with those guys.
Can you imagine your cousin was the lead singer with Ricky Skaggs and Vince Gill in the band?
That's right. Yeah. And it was right in the heyday, man, of like, Keith Whitley was still doing the bluegrass thing with J.D. Crowe at the time. And if I'm not mistaken, Keith at the time, J.D. Crowe was based out of Lexington, Kentucky, and they had a weekly show up there that they played at a hotel. And they had asked Keith to join that band, Boone Creek. And it was a really cool, like just really cool band. I mean, super evolutionary to bluegrass music and big harmonies and cool songs. And Keith ended up taking the job with J.D. Crowe, which later then Crowe cut that My Home Ain't in the Hall of Fame record, that had pedal steel all over it, and ended up launching Keith's country career. But so all the ties that I have, like with my roots in bluegrass music and Appalachia and all of that, go back all the way, to where you start seeing all the foundational pieces of mountain music turning into country music. I mean, we used to play the Carter Family Fold on a regular basis with my dad's band and later my family band. And if anybody's never been there, it's the birthplace of the Carter family. And there's a venue there called the Carter Fold. And that venue is still active today. And at the time, Jeanette Carter was running it, which was June Carter's, I believe, first cousin. And we were playing there the night that Johnny Cash showed up and played his last show ever. And it was kind of unplanned and nobody really knew it. And I remember Jeanette came to the green room and she said, Will, she said, if y'all don't mind, can you hold your show, for a few minutes? And she said, John is going to show up and do a few songs. I'm 11 years old. I don't know who John is or what she's talking about out of context. And sure enough, Johnny Cash showed up and played like 5 songs. And that was the last show he ever played before he passed away. And so because of mountain music, bluegrass music, and all of that, I have these stories, and experiences that I had. I mean, I had all these experiences by the time I was graduated from high school, so I kind of had felt like a veteran in some aspects of the music business. And then I put together a country band and moved to Nashville, and it was like starting all over again, because I was learning to write songs and do that, which I love it.
It is a different thing. And that's what I love about your songs. You do have, I get the whole thing about the front porch picker and highway poet. I get that.
Sure.
Because you're amazing at it. I love how you have an edge. Even your sweet love songs have pace and an edge. And that's because I was telling your publicist, she said, what are you going to talk about? And I'm like, listen, I've done all my research. I'm a fan, but I don't know what we're going to talk about. We're just going to have a conversation. But I love how you will take those and stay true to you. It's like you're at the stage now. And again, most people don't know who you are, but they are. That's why I wanted to talk to you. Is that people are going to be able to know the moment they hear 20 seconds of a song that it's your song.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Well, that's and I love how you've been this whole thing about, I just want to be true to me. And I think that's where happiness leads. I think trying to be the biggest and all this, I think that I think there's no there because you
I
can't
agree.
stay on top. You can't do this. You can't be that. As some stars are finding out, you can fire your whole band, but you're still 60. You're still 60.
That's right.
No matter
Yeah.
how young you want to be, you're not. And life
Yeah. And
goes on.
even just remanufacturing something that's been manufactured
Yeah.
every night, you can only do that for so long, and you're not going to have as much fun doing it, and talking about like having an edge to things, I don't know how to explain it, but I always end up in that space musically, you know what I mean, with any song that we're writing or anything that we're recording, like you said, even a ballad like Lonesome Dove and or Come On In, one of my latest songs. And I think it's just this craving of, it's part of it is just hillbilly hollering. It's just the way I sound in my dialect. I always tell people, I'm like, sometimes I'm jealous of people who are from like the Midwest, because they sound so clean and good. And I can't really couldn't if I wanted to get rid of how I talk or how I sing. But there's a
It don't
sense of
hurt
that
Eric Church
bluegrass.
none, Chief. It don't hurt Eric Church at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's that those hills are in your blood, man. And how you talk and how you sing is who you are. And that's where you come from. And for me, that's literally my story. So yeah, it always ends up showing up. And it's so funny you said that, because I had somebody the other day say that very exact same thing. And they were talking about my sister, Laura Lee, who just recorded a bluegrass album, and she'd released it. And somebody said, you and your brother, talking about me, she said, y'all both sound the same in the way that you have this. And she used edge kind of to the music. So I don't know what that is, but it must be something in the water that we was drinking growing up, because
Well, I mean, I can sit back and give you a list of people who always have an edge. Aldine always has an edge. Always.
Yeah.
I don't care. You can get the most syrupy song he has, and he still has that little edge. Church has an edge. I mean,
I agree, yeah.
Evangeline and the Machine versus the Machine is nothing but, you'll cut your damn self on that record, because it's nothing but edge. And that you have that, and I think you'll be able to create a hell of a following and a hell of a career, and you'll be happier. And I think also that you love banjo, which is the only thing me and Zach Brown disagree about. Zach Brown hates banjos. He hates banjos. He hates them.
That's so funny.
He goes, the best place for a banjo? And I said, okay, where? He goes, in the trunk. Leave it in the there.
Trunk. I don't know. I mean, I play like the smallest ever amount of banjo, but I don't know if I started playing banjo around the house, my wife might actually kick me out, after a while. But I love banjos. And I don't know if talking about Zach, I don't know if I told you my Zach Brown story.
Yeah, no, let's hear it.
I'm with Mike and Brenda Council with another real Mike Council plumbing and rooter story. Let's talk about the early days. What was it like?
Well, when we first started, the phone was by the bed.
So just the two of you?
Exactly.
And I would answer the emergency calls in the middle of the night. I'd wake up and answer them.
2:00, I'm headed out the door.
So 30 years ago.
30 years and 6 months.
But I hear Mike Council Plumbing might have had its beginnings when you were, what, a kid?
Yeah, I grew up in a little one-room shack, and we had an outhouse out back.
An outhouse?
That's correct.
Oh, my.
And ended up with a great appreciation for indoor plumbing.
Yeah, I guess. And when you finally got it?
It was a great day.
Since 1993, the people of San Jose and the South Bay have trusted Mike Council Plumbing and Rooter for all their plumbing needs. From emergencies like a drain backup or water leak, maybe you need a new water heater or fixture installed, a gas appliance hooked up. Give Mike Council a call at 408-217-1002 or go to mcplumbing.com, an official partner of the San Jose Sharks.
You're in clean hands with Mike Council Plumbing and Rooter.
So Zach, we do a Monday night show here in town when I'm off the road called the Denim Daddies, and it's just a killer band of all buddies of ours that tour with different people. And we just get together and play a bunch of old Haggard and Waylon and Keith Willie stuff and stuff. Well, Zach had been coming in there and hanging out with us and watching us and everything. Well, I get a call one day. I'm coming back from Louisville, Kentucky, and Zach invites me out to a show at Nissan. And so I get down and I get on his bus, and Marcus King is on the bus.
Wow.
Well, we're talking guitar talk.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, Zach decides that we're going to have this guitar duel on stage at Nissan Stadium.
You and Marcus King?
Me and Marcus King. And so I was like, Zach, I don't even have a guitar. Well, he brings me one of his guitars, and they bring Marcus out on one side of the stage and me on the other. We end up playing this Chicago tune and just shredding guitar. So Zach is a good dude for that. And, you know, people doing things like that, you don't ever forget because they don't have to. And it's appreciated, you know. It was really cool.
And the fact that you're a musician, right? And I mean, I again, Lee Thomas Miller, I was saying, you know, I was telling him about you know, writing and playing guitar. And he goes, I strum. He goes, I don't play. He goes, there's people who play. He goes, I strum. And the majority of us strum. Right. And he goes, my brotherhood is writing a song. That's my brotherhood. But I'm not a guitar, and I'm not a great singer. So that's not my brotherhood either. And
he can write a song, man.
But he can write a song. And the thing that you must have, I would love to have been in the room just to hear you and Marcus King. And y'all, if you don't know who Marcus King is, wow. First of all, if you saw a picture of him and go, he's a musician. Yeah. I know, don't judge the book by its cover, Chief. That's all I'm saying. And but just to hear you guys talk that brotherhood would have been, man. And I think that's probably what Zach was trying to let the audience feel.
I think so too. Yeah, man, because it's a real thing, man. I mean, yeah. And Marcus, golly, what a talent, dude. That dude has got all the gas in the tank. He can do it.
It is different. And the things that you have learned, you've been on tour and stuff like that. And I just had to get because I'm not going to keep you too long, but I just wanted to get your thumbnail for appreciation because I've known Jon Pardi forever. I've had Jon Pardi on so many times. I want to get your take on Jon Pardi. Tell me about the first time you met him.
On tour. And I didn't have a manager. I didn't have a tour manager. I didn't have anybody but myself and my poor booking agent who was having to do everybody's job. And I was having to figure it out. And we got the call to go on tour with Jon Pardi. And it was throwing me in the deep end because it was the first time I'd ever done an arena show. I literally had a 2010 Nissan Titan crew cab truck. It had a couple 100,000 miles on it. And I went and bought, my band asked me, they said, it's the middle of winter. We're going to the Pacific Northwest. How are we going to do this? You know, we got to drive through the Rocky Mountains, all of them. And I said, I'm going to put a camper shell on the bed of my truck and we're going to load our gear into the back of my truck and we're going to drive up there. And that's what we did. We were in Savannah, Georgia. And a week later, we were in Abbotsford, British Columbia, north of Seattle up there. And man, we hit multiple snowstorms. So the first time I met Jon was on tour. On that tour. And man, that guy's just larger than life. You know, when he walks in a room, it commands everybody. But what a good dude. I mean, he was really good to me on that tour, just to even to think of me on that tour. You know, it was just it was a great experience all the way around. What a great guy.
He is a great guy, and he's one of my favorite interviews. You know what? You know the secret to talking to Jon Pardi is? Don't talk. I'll do this. I'll go, Jon, how you been? I've been good, man. I've been good. What you been doing? Working on the farm.
Running a piece of heavy
and then
equipment.
he'll start filling in, and you want to talk with him, but no, shh, and let him go.
Yeah, just let him talk.
Let him go.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's a good one.
Well, and just the all these different people that you've been with and worked with. I mean, Ashley McBryde is sharp. I mean, and she's, I can't imagine many rooms where she's not the smartest person in the room.
She's brilliant. And you want to go back and talk about, you know, the same thing we talked about Laney. Ashley is that. I mean, as good a person as you'll ever meet. And when you're getting started in this business and you're grinding and you're touring and you're on these shows, you know, people who are really good to you in this business who have no reason to be, you know what I mean? But that you never forget ever in those moments. And Ashley has been that for me. You know, I mean, I've had other people come up to me and say really nice things that she said and things like that. You know, it really helps build, you know, just reinforce your belief in doing the right thing and by being in this business. And Ashley's been that way for me. And we got some more shows with her coming up. Actually, we're going back out on the road with her here in just a couple weeks. But I love some Ashley McBryde.
Yeah, she's a hoot. I
Yeah.
remember she was on the phone with me one time doing the radio show, and she knocked something over, and I'm like, "What happened?" She goes, "I knocked over my French horn."
Her
I
French
said,
horn.
"You have a French horn?" And I said, "I played French horn in the band." And I said, "You want to know something horrible?" And she goes, "What?" I said, "I did too."
No kidding.
And we started laughing. And she goes, "You want me to play it?" And I'm like, "No." I said, you
No.
probably were expecting me to go, "Sure." No, I
No,
don't need to hear
that's
that.
so good.
I don't
Man,
need to
she's
hear
a
that.
boss too, she's a leader. She's all of it, man. She knows she can handle it, dude. She's the best.
Well, and again, it's learning all of these things. It's learning all of these
Yeah.
things that's gone into this package and all these things that the good Lord has given you the chance to see the good and the hard. There's no bad.
Yeah.
There's the good and the hard. And
Fact.
anything worth having is going to be hard, right?
Yep.
And I've taught this to my sons. Remember, they were upset. My oldest is so competitive, and he got angry because they lost a game, right? And he
Sure.
was just really irked. And I said, "Hey, here's something you need to know. The only thing that makes winning fun is the risk of losing." That's the only thing.
Fact.
If I said you could play 5-year-olds and win out, you wouldn't finish the game. 2 minutes in, you'd stop because it's
Yep.
no fun. I said,
That's
if
right.
anything, and that's it. And the same thing in the entertainment industry. Yeah. Are you going to fail? Probably. But when you
Probably.
win, wow. And
So true.
that athletic background, it's amazing how many of you athletes have gotten into music,
Yeah.
right? Think
Yeah.
about it. And I was talking to Brett Young, and I'm like, "What do you think that is?" And he goes, "I think we're just so used to the grind and we're used
Yeah.
to losing that
100%.
losing doesn't scare us." I'm
Yeah, you're rolling the dice every day. So roll it.
like,
You know what I mean? It's the
that's
best. I call my manager. I usually talk to my manager, John, on Monday mornings, checking in. And he'll tell you every time I talk to him on Mondays, I always say, "Happy Monday," because I love Mondays. It's just the start to another week. It's like, every week, it's like, here, let's get after it. It's Monday morning. Let's go. And I think a lot of that does come from sports. My mom was a retired PE teacher and just the coolest. I mean, she has better taste in music than most of my friends. And, but so we always had, a lot of sports kind of built into us there. And I love playing sports. I like the camaraderie, the team aspect. And that's still what we're doing. It's learning how to become a leader, learning how to lead people and take command and do. So, yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense in the music business for sure.
What was your game? What was your best game? You probably played all the sports, but what did you love the most?
Yeah, well, and also, my high school, we had the same 15 guys that played about everything.
Yeah, I know. I grew up in that same way.
Yeah, you'd run track to stay in shape, and then you'd go and you'd dive into the next season. But I'd say my best sport was basketball, most likely. Yeah, I was a point guard, shooting guard guy.
I can see that.
Yeah,
yeah.
I loved baseball. I loved all the sports really. I never played football just because I was still somewhat aware of trying not to beat myself up too bad so that I could play guitar. And protecting. I jammed enough fingers and broken wrist. I've done all that.
That's the thing. When I talk to professional athletes, I started doing this years ago, and I started going, "Tell me what hurts that nobody thinks about." And like basketball players, you know what hurts? It's shoulders, because you play the game with your arms up, right? Gymnasts, it's their feet and their ankles. And I remember talking to, I remember there was Simon Fletcher and also Ronnie Lott. And I'm like, "What hurts?" And they're like, "In football, your hands. Your hands always hurt. You get
because you're grabbing, you're throwing.
You get stepped on. You get a fan. You try to block a pass. That hurts.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow. So that was smart that you stayed away from that sport.
Yeah, man. I mean, even and now I really do make a living with my hands. I mean, so if I am working on my truck or I'm, you won't see me out just like throwing chainsaws around or running PTO shafts on tractors much anymore, because I have to be aware that, if I cut my finger off, I mean, it doesn't just affect me or my family, but it also affects other people on my team and a show. And I mean, there's a lot of responsibility there. So I'm a little more protective about it these days, but you do have to think about it. You do have to think about it.
If you guys listen to the podcast is one thing, but if you get a chance, and you'll see it because we'll have his picture on the podcast thing. But if you get a chance to check out the YouTube, you'll understand why I asked this question. How many times do you get mistaken for Riley Green?
Oh man, the one that I got more common, not too much with Riley,
Zach Top,
but Zach's a good buddy of mine. But he's probably a little too blonde for me. The one that I got forever was Casey off of Yellowstone. That's the one I got a lot. And I think it was because everybody was watching Yellowstone at the time. And he's come out to a couple of our shows in town and stuff, and a great dude. But yeah, no, I haven't really heard the Riley thing too much.
Wow. Because when I was watching your travel log thing and you had on sunglasses, and I'm like, if him and Riley, now I don't know how tall you are. I know Riley's like 6'4".
No, I'm not as tall as Riley by no means, no.
So I'd be able to go, okay, that's Riley. But if I saw you guys sitting down, I'd be like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
That's hilarious.
And because I mean, that was my first take when I looked at you, and I'm like,
that's so funny.
If you got to look somebody looking like Riley Green, had a bad thing to look like.
Well, there you go. That's right. He gets plenty of attention for being pretty, don't he?
Oh, and that's the thing.
And you're from Alabama too, right? So
yeah, he's from Alabama. I'm from Alabama. Ella Langley's from Alabama.
Yeah, I know Ella. My wife is actually from Gadsden, Alabama.
Oh, I've been to Gadsden. I grew up in L.A. for Lower Alabama. I grew up right there in the town. Florella was what it was called. Florella. Okay. It was, Florida, Alabama line. And I took my sons. I have a 15 and 13-year-old. And we usually go travel somewhere every summer. And my son said, hey, we've never been to where you're from. Let's go to where you're from. And I'm like,
that's cool.
I'm like, okay, here we go. And we get off the plane in Panama City, which I know you'd probably hear that. We get off the plane, we're walking out of the car, and my son goes, Dad. I said, what? He goes, the air's heavy. We went in July, right? We went in July.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. It is.
And we were standing there. I went through they had a little Masonic parade, which is why I went down there, because there was something to do. And we sat and watched the Masonic parade, which lasted an hour. And we get done and we're drenched in sweat, just drenched, because it's God hot. And I told my sons, I said, hey, you want to hear my 5 miles uphill both ways stories? And they're like, okay, what? I said, I was 22 years old before I ever lived in a place that had air conditioning.
Wow.
And they're like, what? How are you not
down
dead?
there?
Yeah. I'm like, there you go, man. I said, I had like, I don't know, 55 people in my my high school class. Here's the calm thing. We've already lost 14.
Oh, wow.
How about that? That explains my love for bluegrass music. Because bluegrass music, anybody tell you, they can make the most horrible thing sound peppy. And they can make the most beautiful love song sound like it came straight from a demon. That's all I'm saying.
It's a fact, man. Or the one that always cracks me up now looking back on it is when I was young and there'd be all these old women and everything out at these bluegrass festivals. And I was like, how many like bluegrass songs are extremely violent? I didn't know when I was a kid singing them,
A lot of women died. A lot of women died.
Killing women and like crazy, and all these like nice old women out there like applauding and clapping along, and then like Knoxville Girl, all these songs. And I didn't, it never even really dawned on me until I was older, and I was like, man, that is violent.
Dude, I have had so much fun. We need to do this again. You know what we'll do the next time? We will do nothing but our favorite bluegrass songs. Right?
I love that.
And then we'll just sit back and I'll come up with a couple of songs that I think everybody should hear. And you come up with a couple of songs that you think everybody should hear. And we'll have little background, little stories like this, because you've lived a life where you have stories, and Lord knows I have.
Yeah, man. No doubt.
And it is a hoot. But y'all, check out his website, check out his stuff, check out his music. And, it's like, it's y'all, we've been doing this long enough. I can remember when we would go, hey, we got this new guy coming to Club Rodeo. Y'all should come see him. His name's Eric Church. Or you should come see him. His name is Jason Aldean. Hey, we got this little girl who's going to play Club Rodeo. She's only 16, but her name's Taylor Swift. Come out and see her.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way about that as I do you. I think
I appreciate you.
You are destined to launch, my friend.
Well, I appreciate you so much. And thank you for letting me get on here and just talk with you. I'm good at talking and I enjoy it too. So I appreciate the conversation because I really do. I do enjoy it a lot.
Anytime, Will Jones, until we meet again, my friend.
Until next time, my friend. I appreciate you, Gary.